window executed the one-eyed bird. This window absorbed 1,000 screams. This window leant against a lazy cat. This window grew black with smoke. This window believed it was a ghost. This window was frosted for Christmas. This window dreamed of lipstick breath. This window wished it could bray at the moon. This window missed the wains. This window showed an old woman dawn. This window thought it was a door. This window smelled the camphor of a coffin. This window wanted to live longer. This window whispered, but no one heard. The rest of the windows are saying nothing for now. This is my latest book is a volume of short fiction. It's called The Stone Mirror, and there's slightly odd fictions that don't really fit into any genres or whatever, but I've had some good reviews so far, and obviously most of them are too long to read, but this is the last story, and it's the shortest by far, and I'll read that. So it's the end of the book. It's called Story Cut Short. I will be brief. For some time, I was employed in a medical capacity at the Santé prison. My role was to ascertain and testify to the death of those lost souls who encountered Madame la Guillotine. You may think that, in view of a certain end, my presence was hardly necessary, but as you will see, the pathology of decapitation is more complex than generally imagined. At 5:30 a.m. on the 28th of June 1905, I was privileged to be able to conduct an unusual experiment on the murderer Langui. With the agreement of the prisoner, I was allowed to address the capitis. Immediately after the blade had fallen, the eyelids and lips contracted for some 5 seconds. Then the face relaxed, leaving only the white of the conjunctiva visible. Then, there was no doubt, the feelin's eyes fixed on mine. I called his name, Langui. He blinked several times in response. This lasted for about 40 seconds and gradually eased until he was motionless. For several years I conducted these experiments, increasing their sophistication. I devised a device that, attached to the ears, swung the head upside down, thus preventing the spurt of blood from the jugular foramina and extending consciousness. All this time I never saw a face that seemed to exhibit pain or terror. Some rolled their eyes or tried to mouth words. The wicked Landru, subject of my penultimate experiment, who had refused to hear the mass or take a last glass of brandy, I swear, winked at me insolently and remorselessly. Now I was in the rapture of obsession. I began to think of the moments following decapitation. It was almost a joyous relief, an escape from corporal and visceral servitude, a moment unpolluted with consequences, a time for contemplation before meeting the one true maker. I thought of the theory that, at the moment just before death, one's whole life is lived again, but more perfectly. The acts of ruin slow to a stop, and devout souls have time to recite their sweetest prayers and make their peace with the corruptible world. I had read that some of the pygmy tribes of Africa who beheaded their enemies compassionately attached their heads to a springy sapling so that their last moments seemed like a transport to heaven. Thoughts like these tormented me. I pondered day and night on the same questions I needed to know. I devised a machine and nailed the upside-down clock to the wall. The trick was set so that when I released the blade, the string device would hold the head in the exact position. So now at last I know the lapse between decapitation and death is at least 54 seconds, just enough time for me to recount this extraordinary